I tell the difference between cheap and expensive snacks? So many of you know me from the series Cheap vs Expensive, where I tested cheap versus expensive products. Now that being said, can I put my knowledge that I've learned to the test? So we're going to try and figure that out today. We're going to try a whole bunch of different snacks, not only cheap versus expensive, but we've got cheap, reasonably priced, slightly expensive, and the most expensive one I could find. So once we've tried all of them, and before we find out which one was cheap and expensive, we'll pick which one's our favourite to see which one stands out in the price range. So that being said, let's get started on our first one, where we'll be having a look at different chocolates. So the way this is going to work is obviously you can see the prices in the front there, and they're being mixed up, so I don't know which is exactly which. We can see some of the brands, but that shouldn't affect it too much. That being said, we're just going to try each one, and we'll rate it, which is the best, and then we'll rate which is the worst as well. So we'll figure out what we feel based on the taste and some of the other characteristics. So that being said, let's get started. I'm quite excited. I do enjoy some chocolate, so we'll tuck in. So I think for this one, what we're going to do is start on this side over here with the Cadbury's. Obviously, we can see the logo on the actual chocolate. That's how we can tell. If it's got much of a snap. Okay, no, not really. Let's give it a try and see what this one's like. Very creamy. Chocolatey. That's very nice. Obviously, I'm familiar with the brand. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, good start. Let's move on to this one here. So I don't know what this one is. I've not seen this logo before. Let's see. Is there much of a snap? Yeah, that was a decent snap, actually. Right. Let's try this one. Whoa. That flavour is so unique. Not ever tried anything like that before. Almost doesn't taste like chocolate. Almost tastes like it's slightly fermented. Okay, that's an interesting one. I quite like it, but it's quite a unique flavour. I think the cocoa beans in that are really, or the cacao in that is really, really strong. Yeah, that flavour is very intense compared to the Cadbury's there. Let's try this one. Obviously, this is a Lindt, so I know this is probably on the higher end. Okay, not really any snap there. So there you go. That's our Lindt one. Let's see. Very creamy. Again, so different to the flavour here, and so different to the flavour here. It's amazing to me that each of these things have such a unique flavour. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, and before we make our decisions, let's try the one on the left here. Okay, on this one, there's no real discernible pattern. It's sort of just hatch working. So let's see if it's got a snap. That was pretty good, actually. Whoa. It's taking a while for the actual flavour to come through. That doesn't taste good at all. Damn, that tastes really bad. It's almost quite chalky, this one. That's interesting. Let's just try the Cadbury's again. So I think my favourite choice here is between these two. It's so weird. This almost tastes like cheese. Cheesy chocolate. Right. Just rinse my mouth out a little bit from that with the Cadbury's. So obviously we have to pick our best and our worst choices today. That's the aim of the game. So I think it's difficult because these two kind of taste equally good. It's a bit smoother than the Cadbury's. My favourite is I think is gonna go here at the Cadbury's. So there we go. So that's my favourite choice. I've got to say my least favourite has to be this one over here. Yeah, not even a competition. It tastes the flavour here is quite strange. Again, this is a sort of like that cheesy fermented-y flavour, which I don't mind necessarily, but it's not my favourite either. So yeah, definitely this is my top pick. This will be number 2, number 3, and then finally over here number 4. Yeah, so moving on, obviously we're looking at cookies now. So we've got a range of different cookies here, not only in price, but they actually have slightly different sizes as well. And I can see that the chocolate chip range is quite different here. We've got quite dark chocolate chips here. And over here, we've got very sparse chocolate chips, which is quite interesting. I wonder if that lends us to believe anything about the price. That being said, I think we're going to start, this time we'll start on this side here, because we started there last time. Let's see what we've got in terms of this thing. So you can see the chocolate chips are quite dark. There's quite a lot in there, which is a good sign. Let's give it a little try and see what it's like. That's pretty nice. So I think that is dark chocolate on the little pieces there. But they're quite tasty. Let's try this one next, because this has the second most chocolate chips. You can see there's quite a lot in there as well. So let's try this one. Whoa. The actual cookie bit is way crunchier here. It's much softer here. It's not a soft cookie, but the actual crumble is much softer. Okay, so we tried these two. We've got an interesting flavour so far. Let's try this one. I think this one looks one of the best. Look at that. That looks so good. Let's try it. Now that's nice. Slightly overdone. You can see by the colour. Let's try this one here. These were the same size, those two, pretty much. And this is a small one, like this one. I'm just enjoying myself eating some cookies here. This is a pretty nice day at work. Let's try this one again. So I think it's a fairly easy call. This one is definitely my favourite one. This one was seriously good. Yeah, I like this a lot. And now for my least favourite, and it's definitely between these two. I just prefer the shortbread, sort of biscuity flavour on that. Yeah, I think this is definitely the worst out of them. Yeah, easily. Okay, that's our choices. Yeah, this one gets an honourable mention over here. So now we picked our choices. Let's have a look at which ones they are. Let's see what we got. Okay, so it was the medium priced one, and it was the most expensive one that we picked as the worst. That's interesting. It's interesting that we got the most expensive one we picked as the worst one. I just wasn't that happy with how the actual cookie flavour tasted. The chocolate chips were okay. I realised it was sort of dark chocolate chips in there. But yeah, just the overall sort of crumb on that wasn't as nice. And this one was the sort of lower end, medium priced one. And I got to say, that was pretty nice. Definitely happy with my choices here. I feel like, yeah, this was easily the winner out of the ones I tried. Yeah, let's move on to the next round. So for the third and final test today, obviously we're going to be looking at ice creams. So we've got a different range of prices here, naturally. And they all look kind of different. And they've all melted at slightly different temperatures, as it's quite hot here in the studio. The one over here has not really melted at all. And this one on this side here has melted almost entirely. So I don't know what that says about the quality yet, but I'm sure we'll find out when we try them. So let's try this one first. This one looks interesting. It's very yellow. The most yellow out of them by far. And you can see it looks quite interesting. Let's give it a try. Interesting. Can I taste the sort of egg and custardy flavour that is usually in ice cream? Not so much, but I do taste, it tastes quite icy almost. The crystals, the ice crystals in that are quite large. I can very much feel them. Let's move on to this one here, which compared is a completely different colour. See, this is extremely white compared. You can see that very obviously. Let's see. Ooh. That tastes much, much more milky. This was a lot sweeter. Like the chocolate that was in our third position here on the first test, it almost tastes slightly cheesy. It's very, very milk heavy. Milk forward, I guess. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's try this one here. So again, another very yellow one. I don't know what that means or why maybe it's the egg yolks used in it are extremely yellow. That's nice. The flavour is so different to this one. I think I prefer this one compared to this one here, and even this one. This might be my favourite so far. But again, it's slightly tangy. I don't know where that tang is coming from. It's too much tang. This is so melty. Or compared to the others, look, it's already completely melted. Try it. Got the it's almost just, it's like a milkshake here. Let's try it anyway. Whoa. This is even more tang than this one. It's so tangy. It's so smooth, that one as well. The ice crystals in that are absolutely tiny, and it makes it such a smooth taste on the mouth. That's going to be the way they actually make the ice cream, when there's essentially slow blending it. Depending on how the crystals forms and depending on how quickly they try and crystallize it to speed up the process, will give an indication as to the price of it. Because if they're trying to make it really quick and cheap, the crystals will essentially form much bigger and quicker. So this is why this is so smooth, because I think this might be the expensive one. The vanilla in this tastes quite expensive as well. Very sort of real vanilla flavour. Where if I say this one, which I can see sort of has these vanilla specks in it, much, much more subtle. This one almost has no vanilla flavour. And this one has also no vanilla flavour. But this one's very tangy as well. If I'm going to suspect which one is the most expensive one, it's going to be here. But that's not what we're doing. We've got to pick which one we like the most and which one we like the least. Now, I've got to say, I think it's fairly obvious at this point. This is the one I like the most. It's the smoothest. The flavour is the strongest. I quite enjoy this. So I'm going to put that as our favourite one for now. Now I kind of need to decide which one's our least favourite. And for me, it's really between... I do like this. But it does lack a little bit of punch. This is even more so. There's almost no flavour in that. This one has some flavour. Okay, so I think it's clear for me, I think at this point. It's got to be this one is my least favourite. And then this one is my most favourite. And then this one this probably gets second place, and then this would be third place. Okay, let's have a look what we've got. Interesting. That makes sense. Okay. So with ice cream, you can't really get away with it in terms of when you have to cheaply manufacture a frozen product. It's quite hard to mass produce these and to have all those flavors in there because they're expensive. Vanilla's really expensive. Milks can be really expensive. And the actual process of freezing these is going to be a big part of the cost in terms of the time and energy that takes. So I think you can really taste that difference here. Yeah, this is lovely stuff. This is very, very nice. That definitely makes sense to me, and I'm quite happy to stick with that in terms of the rankings. Right, so yeah, I think we're good there. So there we go. We got some interesting results with our experiments. I was quite happy with some of those. That's quite interesting. I think the cookie was surprising because obviously the cheapest one was my favourite. I think it was the cheapest one or the second cheapest one. Yeah, it was quite good to be honest. So definitely recommend that. Yeah, I wasn't too surprised by the ice cream. Again, all those reasons that I gave were that. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more videos like this in the comments. Always love reading what you lot have to say and responding to your comments. Also, let me know if you like these longer video formats. I enjoy making them. I think I'm sort of figuring out a little bit more of a process here in terms of how I actually produce them, which is obviously amazing to me and been one of my dreams for a long time. So I'm so excited and happy to be able to share that with all of you. That being said, subscribe if you want more content like this. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more stuff like this. I've got quite a few ideas planned that we can do and a few things moving forward. So yeah, comment what we should try next. Very cool. Yum yum.